Oh, this is great. This is great. Yesterday, I told you about the LA ports that they were going to start assessing fines, which would have cost in the tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars within a week. The officials have delayed that until November 22nd. Yeah. So that's good. That's really good. We got that going for us. California gas prices hit a record for a second consecutive day. They're banning drilling near New Mexico's, Chaco Canyon. Goya says...
near is a little bit of a stretch, too. What is it, 10 miles? I mean, I guess that's near if you're driving a car quickly.
Yeah, well, if you're going to the sun, the moon is near, too. Goya says with inflation, they're going to have to hike their prices. Nestle says they're hiking their prices. Tyson Foods says they're going to hike their prices. Kraft, they're hiking their prices by 20%. IBM says inflation fears could trigger some chaos. Interesting choice of words there. General Motors revoking heat seat option due to chip shortage. So even the cars you are going to get are not going to be the car that you necessarily want. But that's all part of the process. We have to expect less. Carol Roth is the author of The War on Small Business. If you want to know what happened in COVID and how this is all playing out for the average person, make sure you read The War on Small Business. She's a former Wall Street investment banker, turned to Jesus, and started going, wait, nobody's really caring about the small business. Carol Roth is with us now. Hi, Carol. How are you?
Hey, glad I'm doing well. How are you?
Very good. So last time you were on, we talked about, preparing, and I asked you specifically about, gas and oil and natural gas for heat, and we've had some updates, and I wanted to get your thoughts on this. Saule Omarova has come out and said that she wants oil, gas, and coal companies to go bankrupt for climate change. And I think that is the plan from the left and this administration. That's not radical to them. Do you believe that?
The fact that somebody like Ms. Omarova could be considered to be that near to our money supply and decision making is absolutely indicative of the fact that we should all be very concerned. Saying things aloud. I mean, this used to be the quiet part. Now they're just saying it out loud, saying things like we should bankrupt oil and gas, and particularly the small guys, in pursuit of climate change and climate justice, saying things like we should be getting rid of private banks so we could all deposit our money with the Federal Reserve. I mean, this is a woman who was trained at the University of Moscow, and her thesis that was about Karl Marx and capital, the sole copy has magically disappeared from the internet. So if that gives you any sense of the kinds of thought process that's going on. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I'm not sure how much of this is sort of an evil plan versus central planning stupidity, but it really doesn't matter, does it? Because the outcome is always going to be the same, whether it's intentional or just because they think they know better. We're the ones that pay the economic damage, and it's not only in proactive, additional dollars that need to be spent to convert to things that we may not want or need, but it's lost productivity, and it's the taking away of choice and the impact on our individual lives that happen when a handful of people think they know better than the free market in terms of what we're doing. And certainly we're seeing that in the energy arena, from everything from the administration to what they've done more broadly with this quote-unquote ESG investing.
We have John Kerry saying every coal plant in America will be closed down by 2030. I think that's an impossible standard to keep, and would end in massive, massive blackouts and brownouts. Am I right on that or not? Did you look into this?
I did look into this. It's interesting. Usually when I go out and talk to experts in areas, that are not, 100% core to my expertise, and I say, I like to give you credit on air if I talk about this. Usually you get the, okay, here's how you credit me. Everyone's like, no, I don't want to talk about this, but let me tell you what happened. Just don't use my name. And,
wow.
This is across the country. So this isn't just a California issue, which obviously is leading the nation, but even experts out of Texas, people who are monitoring the electric grid are incredibly concerned about brownouts or blackouts. And
wait. In the future or now?
Now.
Now.
Already. So forget about 2030, but now, because we're not making the level of investments to keep what we do have up in this push for transition, we want to have maintenance of what we already have, and that's becoming more and more difficult. And obviously, we're seeing it just countrywide in terms of our energy dependence. So I have been told reliably, again, even in Texas, that you want to have a backup source of power, and I have been told almost everybody said either a propane, diesel, or combo generator is something that you're going to want to have because, in a state, for example, like Texas, the quote was, once the state loses power, it will take a minimum of 2 weeks to restore plants back to operations and customers able to use grid power again.
Oh my
so
gosh.
This isn't something that, we've got 9 years or whatever to be thinking about. We should be planning and preparing now.
So you have this. It's worse in California because you can't buy the generators, right? You can't use diesel generators or gas power generators.
I think that depending on which city you are located in and, like where you are within the state, I think you still can get in certain places like a propane-based generator, but they are starting, whether it's the limitation of natural gas in new construction, taking gas out of commercial kitchens.
Wait. Taking natural gas out of kitchens?
Commercial kitchens. Oakland's already put this in effect. A number of cities are doing this. The California Restaurant Association filed a suit on behalf of restaurants, and it was dismissed. So if you want to have, your natural gas cooked, wok food or burgers or whatnot, you can't do that anymore in certain cities. And so they are completely taking away, even just the ability to cook certain types of foods because they want to make sure that you only have an electric hookup. And I'm not a chef, Glenn. I know this is going to surprise you. I'm not the most domestic gal out there, but even I know that there's certain things that you're not going to be wanting to cook on an electric stove.
That's unbelievable. Okay, so diesel, propane, or combo generator as a backup. We should all be looking at that. Solar is unreasonable, completely unreasonable. I have solar at my house, and I'm completely off the grid, and that has cost me a fortune. No average person can go there, and that's with a diesel backup and a natural gas backup.
Yeah, unfortunately, the technology isn't there for what the proponents of it would like for it to be. Not to say that it might not be in the future, but we're not there, and that's the problem. Is that they're trying to push us in a direction where we're just not prepared for it, and it's going to create issues at a financial and personal level for people. And who's going to end up suffering the most? Of course, it's going to be the middle class.
Yeah.
I'm sure that the folks who are the most poor will get some sort of benefit from the government, and if you're super wealthy, they'll figure out some workaround for you. But this is once again something that the middle class is going to end up bearing the cost of. And by the way, the costs that they're estimating are out of this world, and those are just the dollars that we're putting out, not economic damage or personal damage. I've seen anywhere from 5 to 10 trillion on the low side, which we know that that's never going to be the case, to north of 90 trillion in some of these estimates. And we know the financial engineering that they always do, that we're just going to look at it at a certain period of time. So if you look at it over a long period of time, it's a ton of money. This is a ton of money towards something that a lot of people don't want. And if they really cared about the environment, we'd be looking at things like carbon recapture technology and nuclear energy and all these things that we know America can lead on, instead of forcing an agenda that all of these folks are probably invested in, and that's probably why they're pushing it.
That's exactly right.
It's for them to be making money at the expense of, by the way, the red states, which are heavily invested in fossil fuels. No coincidence there.
Carol, what are we looking at for inflation, do you think? I mean, how long before it is so bad that everyone is screaming in pain?
Well, so the challenge and sort of the, I hate to use the smart thing, let's say the evil thing that they've done, is that it's going to affect different people differently, and I think that's part of why they've been trying to sell that it's not happening. We heard it's not going to happen. It's going to run a little bit hot. It's quote unquote transitory, which anyone who's been listening to me knows I've been saying this whole time. Of course, it's not. And now they're trying to sell you that it's a good thing. Oh, you're gonna be able to buy a $4,000 suit. Good for you.
Right. Yeah. And you're going to spend less now because you won't be able to afford things, and so we'll stop being this consumer nation. Yeah, that was
insane.
Live
like Europe. That's just exactly what we all wanted to do.
Right.
It's unfortunate. So the issue here is that because of all of the money printing that's happened and all the stimulus that has increased inflation, it has increased asset value. So if you own a house or a bunch of houses, if you have a huge stock portfolio, if you've had access to capital, to debt capital to go out and buy these big assets, those assets are going to probably continue to inflate in price because there's all of these dollars out there and they need to go somewhere. But if you are in the middle class again, or if you're poorer and you need to go out and buy the things that your family needs to live, the food to put on your table and the gas to get to work, this is, it's already really painful. And unfortunately, the elites in the media who are supposed to be pointing this out and acting as a check and balance are now laughing at the average American and saying, oh, why do you need to drink that much milk? Or, maybe you should cut back on your expenditures, instead of holding the people who are creating these policies to task. And then, oh, by the way, they just signed a $1.2 trillion bill yesterday and are trying to spend trillions more, and then selling us on, that's going to bring down inflation. Like, I don't know. That didn't show up in any of my economics classes at work. But it's a really bad situation, and because it's kind of like what happened in COVID, right? When they shut down small businesses, but they kept the big businesses open, even though the average people were screaming because those who were connected were benefiting, nothing happened. And I see the same kind of split and great consolidation of power and wealth, as I've been calling it. And some of this, even if you fix some of the supply chain, things like the wage increases, those aren't going to slow down. You can't pay somebody $20 an hour today to start, and then 3 months from now think you're going to be paying entry-level people $7. It's just not going to happen.
CarolRoth.com. CarolRoth.com. Her latest book is The War on Small Business. CarolRoth.com. Thanks, Carol. Talk to you again.